So my name's Mariopaola McGurk. I'm the program lead for the Masters in Business Innovation and Leadership. It's a business degree that is housed within the Faculty of Art and Design. What that means is that it appeals to two types of students. The one is students from cultural and creative industries, which could be art, design, architecture, industrial design, interior design, gaming, and they're interested in getting a degree that's a master's degree that they can become the leaders of the industry. Rather than what currently exists in most master's programs within art and design is practitioner-led. So you really focus on you as the creative, you as the practitioner. So with this degree, those students will learn how to lead within the industry. The second component is people from different industry, any industry, who don't want a generic business degree. They want a degree where they actually learn practical skills of how to influence and how to implement creative ideas or business concepts within their leadership training and innovation. You know, innovation and leadership have become catchphrases. You'll see it everywhere, and pivoting and all of these words. But the truth is, innovation, its foundation is in creativity. So if you can't learn how to be creative and you can't learn how you perceive the world as a leader, you won't be able to be innovative and you won't be able to be a good leader. So this degree really has foundations in the right place, which sets it apart from all degrees I know. A very large part of this degree is learning about different forms of leadership and how to incorporate problem solving within your leadership style. So what I like to call is getting comfortable in the problem space. So the students spend quite a lot of time learning systems thinking, and systems thinking really is a way of thinking that is really important in our modern world, because it's how do you look at problems that are very, very complicated. And instead of a linear approach where you have a right and a wrong answer, it's what is a better and a worse answer. And this course will teach students how to start thinking differently about problem solving, and that will lead them to being better leaders. The second component is that throughout the degree, they are going to be challenged to what they think, what are their bias, what are their perspectives, what is their history, what is their context. Something that is very common in the cultural and creative industries, but for some reason is lacked in most industries, where the individual has to show up as the leader before you can lead. You can't lead if you don't have a sense of self. One example that I had recently with students, where we were explaining there's a range of business leadership styles. And in any business degree, students will learn a variety of styles. The truth is that all the styles are beneficial and purposeful in different contexts and different situations. And I gave an example of Madiba, Nelson Mandela, and his leadership style, which he learned from his father, who was a chief in the village. And his style was that in villages in Africa, there are kraals. So when people meet, they sit in a circle. They don't sit in a boardroom with a leader and a bottom. You sit as equals. And his approach was he would watch his father sit and listen to everybody talk before he spoke. And the benefit of it, for as long as it took, and the benefit of it was he got a very good sense of what everybody was thinking about the complex problems, number one. And number two, he got a very good sense of where everybody in the room stands on the problem. So when he spoke, he was speaking from a sense of understanding of the problem space. So he was comfortable in the problem space. And I had a student recently who, after that lecture and learning about this, they were in a New Zealand context in their business. I won't tell the details of the business. And they've been trying to get this specific client for years. And couldn't get this client. So what they decided to do, instead of inviting the clients around to their offices, they invited them to lunch, they invited their board, and they sat and they had, or lunch or supper, and they sat and they had a meal. And they listened. The board and him, he spoke to them, they just listened to the clients and the clients' needs, the clients' wants. They complimented them. They said, what do you want? What are you after? And at the end of the meeting, the client came on board and said, we are keen to come on board. And the students said, you know, that discussion and that example of a real case study of a real leader in the world that did a tremendous job directly influenced him getting the
contract.
That's the one complex thing when you have business degrees, business leadership, innovation. is what makes it tangible, because it's not about you will enter the work field in this position. It's that you will enter with a career-driven mindset. You will enter the work field with a better sense of how you are going to grow as a leader. And it shows in ways like that. It shows in you growing and developing your sense of self and what you are after within your workplace, within your... At the end of this course, they'll have a better sense of what type of leaders they are, where their strengths are, where their weaknesses are, and also a sense of what innovation is. Because so many people, the vast majority of people, are hearing these words and they assume innovation is just Elon Musk or these big tech guys. That's not only what innovation is. And in this course, they'll get a sense of where does invention come in, where does creativity come in, and how do you become somebody who can resolve complex problems in innovative ways that are relevant to your industry. Currently, the way the course runs is that it's cumulative. So every course leads to the next course, leads to the next.
All right.
So you start with the first trimester with yourself as the innovator. So you're looking at yourself, your leadership styles, your understanding of innovation. In the second trimester, you're moving on to your projects, and you have to start prototyping and playing with a systems change, a new service, a new product. And in the final trimester, you're working on a capstone project.
Okay.
So in each course, we bring in industry specialists who are guest speakers. The course is a hybrid model. It follows a pedagogical approach. And all that means is that it's student-led and not lecturer-led.
Okay.
So there's a lot on the students to bring themselves. There's a lot placed on them in this degree. We can speak about that just now. So there's 5 courses, and in every course, their lectures are online, so there's a lot of flexibility. But they meet for 3 days, 2 to 3 days per course, what we call the creative community gatherings. And the creative community gatherings are on site in Auckland at the Whitecliffe campus. And there's 3 components to it: expert, storyteller, and maker. And what happens in those sessions is we have industry experts coming in, depending on what the course is teaching. And you get an expert coming and explaining from industry what this terminology is, what this concept is. A storyteller, which could be a entrepreneur who's actually done it, or it could be somebody in industry who's in a senior position. And then maker, where the students will be challenged to make in a variety of contexts. In the capstone component, the last trimester, students will get a mentor for 2 to 3 hours, direct one-on-one, who ideally, if we can, will be somebody from their industry who will work with them on their capstone project. So it's very customized to the students and what their interests are and what problems they are trying to resolve. So sometimes students, it takes a bit of adapting to get used to it, and then they just thrive, because it really is based on them and them showing up. And that's in a variety of ways, and I'll explain the different ways. So every course, every trimester, they have lectures twice a week at 4 hours per lecture. Twice a week. The lectures are, part of it is the lecturer will present one of the concepts from that week, and they'll present and they'll lecture it. The second component is a student, one of the students, it's a different student each week. The student has to present a lecture and lecture their students. So every single student throughout the course is getting an opportunity to lecture others. This benefits them because they're learning the work as a lecturer, which studies have shown you learn more by teaching others. But also they're learning how to present, how to work on PowerPoints, how to work on report writing, all of that stuff. So that's one component, student-led and lecturer-led sessions. Then there's a comprehensive online Canvas, and Canvas is a study platform where every week there's work that students have to work on individually. So, when people say more interactive, it's assumed that means that you're always with people. And that's not the case. So there's components where you're with people, and there's components where you work on in your own pace, in your own space. And that's online on the Canvas platform. Then we have the creative community gatherings, and the mentorship, and then finally an area called the discussion board. And what happens on the discussion board is every 2 weeks, students have to write, they learn about reflexivity, which is reflecting and critical thinking
what
deeper.
They have learned and then reflecting about
But they have to go quite deep. And every 2 weeks they've got to write about what they've learned in the last 2 weeks, what stuck out, what was interesting. And then fellow students have to comment on what they've written. So there's a lot of engagement with fellow students. The real benefit of that, there's numerous benefits, but one of the benefits on a program like this that is so cross discipline. You have people from a variety of industries. You're learning from people who are not like you. You are learning from industries that don't think like yours. So when you have problems in your industry, you haven't attended a degree where everyone in the class had similar perspectives with you as you do.
So everybody.
So you're learning how to be in spaces with a variety of views and thoughts, which enhances your leadership styles. So the objective of this course is to create future leaders. So it doesn't matter what industry you're from.
Okay.
What it is doing is it's developing you as a manager, number one, then as a senior manager, and then as a leader, whichever industry you're on.
Okay.
So whatever industry you're going into, having a master's in business innovation and leadership, you'll be able to elevate the business through problem solving, and that will elevate you. So like all business degrees, it's not a linear trajectory. It's
like you just don't need to go into finance or marketing
exactly.
or sales.
You
can
can
go
go
to any
them.
direction.
Yes, yeah.
Oh, okay.
So in the fourth industrial revolution, where we're sitting currently in our contemporary world, and with the huge shifts that are coming with AI, we can't even understand where this world is going.
Yeah.
But we can teach them how to think. And if you can think and analyze and be comfortable in the problem space, you'll be able to resolve any situation and elevate yourself in your career path.